Vincent, tell me a wee bit about the family business, because it almost started by accident.
Yes, well, he started the company in 1932. He was working for New Zealand Farmers Co-op, and he was an agent on the road. He had a car, and New Zealand Farmers Co-op used to lend money to farmers, and I think it's in 1932 on New Year's Eve, he was asked to go to a farm in Loburn and repossess the farm. And the farmer had 4 children, and of course over time he'd become friendly with the farmer and his clients that he dealt with. And he got halfway to Loburn and he realised that he couldn't do it, so he returned to Rangiora and put the keys on the manager of the Farmers Co-op desk and said, "Sorry, I'm not doing it." So of course he was instantly fired, and then he had to go home and explain to my grandmother that he had been fired in the middle of the Depression, and she was very, very worried, how they were going to continue. So anyway, after that he got a painting job, as my grandmother's uncle was the mayor of Rangiora at the time, and he said, "Well, you can paint my house." So he did that, and he earned £50 doing that, and then he borrowed another £50 from the mayor, and he started Luisetti Seeds.
And then from then on he used his personality to build up his client list.
Yes, he did. He was a charismatic chap and well liked in the community, and he started with an oat crusher on actually exactly where you're standing now, Rob, and the premises across the road was a livery stable, and farmers would come to Rangiora on a Friday and to a stock sale in the middle of Rangiora, and they'd leave their horses in the building across the road that we can see from here and bring him a bag of oats to crush, and that's how he started.
And then he got into seeds.
Yes, a short time after he became involved, particularly in the wheat industry, and he traded wheat and then ryegrass and clover. And so the next thing to happen, he purchased a seed cleaning machine from Mr. Andrews of Andrews and Bevan. He always insisted that he bought his machinery from Mr. Andrews, who used to come out on the train from Christchurch wearing a tweed jacket and a tweed hat, and my grandfather always enjoyed his company.
They were really hard but wonderful times, weren't they?
They were, and it's quite nice for me, even today, some of my older clients still remember my grandfather and talk about some of his wit and trading that they did with my grandfather.
Tell me a bit about the story about the bad weather.
Yes, well, a client of ours, who's still a client today at Loburn, told me once his grandfather came to Rangiora to sell ryegrass to my grandfather. He came on his push bike, and during the transaction it started to pour with rain. A southerly hit, and my grandfather said, "Oh, you can't possibly bike back to Loburn." So he put this chap's bike in the back of the car and took him back to Loburn, and the family still remembers that kindness to this day.
Isn't it wonderful, that loyalty?
Yes, we have got some very loyal clients. We've got a number of clients that have been dealing with us for 3 generations. It's quite nice for me that I've had the link with my grandfather. He was able to tell me about the start of the company, and we've still got areas of the company that were here when he first started, and that at the right height for a dray to back into and unload seed, and some of those areas still exist in the company today.
Since then you've come a long way, but very slowly.
Yes, we have. Yes, we're not fast out of the blocks, but today we employ a staff of somewhere about 50, and we're on 2 sites. We're on a 2.5 hectare site here in the middle of Rangiora, and we've got a 1.5 hectare site at Ashburton. There's 4 seed cleaning machines at Ashburton, and there's 2 here in Rangiora.
And you've got people on the road?
We've got 10 agronomists today visiting farmers from Southland to Blenheim.
And I guess you also use other merchants?
Yes, a lot of our products are sold through other merchants, particularly our milling wheat varieties, our barley varieties, and we're starting to develop a portfolio of forage seed, which has been very well received by the industry.
But small steps.
Yes, as I say, we just take things quietly, Rob, and don't get too ahead of ourselves.
Even during your time though, Vincent, the times have changed within the industry.
Yes, certainly. Farming's a lot different today to what it was when my grandfather started, when everything was horse-drawn. And also, you know, there's been a lot of improvements in our own industry, and particularly in the changeover from bags to bulk in the 1970s. And I was working here at that time as a small boy, and I certainly remember that change.
Yeah, I do. I used to work on headers in a cloud of dust. Pretty tough times.
Well, they were tough old days, but I must say, from the point of view of working in the store, I thoroughly enjoyed, you know, working with the gang of men that we had at that time, and stacking. You know, I think I'd probably be the youngest person that knows how to stack seed in a stack, and it was a lot of fun, and actually it was a lot of teamwork and thoroughly enjoyable.
And it's still fun, isn't it, working within your community?
Yes, well it is, yes, and actually I've got a 14-year-old boy and a 20-year-old girl, and they both work here in the holidays, and so they're probably doing similar things now to what I did when I was a child, but you know, it's probably just a little bit less labour intensive.
I guess times have changed with computerisation.
Well, I guess it has, Rob. It's not something not really my strong suit, I'd have to say. I just missed out on that era, but yes, we're definitely finding that you know, keeping track of our stock and yeah, our processes are definitely smoothed by computerisation. At the moment we're undertaking a large-scale project to, you know, bring our computer systems up to date.